Welcome back to my channel. I am back with another Love and Hip Hop Atlanta review, so let's just get right into it because a lot happened in this episode. So at the very beginning of this episode, Yandy and Mendeecees end up having a conversation with Mendeecees' mom, Judy, because she's trying to figure out where Yandy and Mendeecees actually stand with each other. And Mendeecees did admit during this conversation that he just recently moved out of the house that him and Yandy shared, and he says the reason why he did it is because they were arguing too much and he didn't think it was a healthy environment for the kids. And Yandy did admit during this conversation that Mendeecees made the right decision moving out, and she feels like this is something that should have happened a long time ago. And Yandy saying that this is something that should have happened a long time ago with Mendeecees moving out tells me everything I needed to know about their relationship behind closed doors. I feel like their relationship has been toxic and they've had a lot of issues. They just didn't want to let it all play out in front of the cameras. But if it's true that they were doing a lot of arguing in the house and the children were around to hear it, I do think that, they made the right decision with Mendeecees deciding to move out, because that's definitely not a healthy environment for the children. The children would be better off with the two of them just having a healthy co-parenting situation rather than them arguing constantly and living under the same roof. And I mean, Yandy did apologize during this conversation with Mendeecees for having an emotional affair with another man, and he did accept her apology. He said that he already knew about it, but he was waiting for her to actually take accountability for it. But I could have sworn that they said last season that they had already talked about this behind the scenes without the cameras around. So I'm wondering what he means when he says that he wanted her to take accountability. Did he say that he wanted her to take accountability publicly for it on the show so that the people can see that she actually did have this emotional affair? I don't know. It just seems like he wants to paint Yandy as the bad guy in this situation when it took both of them to get their relationship to where it is now. But for some reason, Mendeecees decided to bring up the fact that he's upset that Yandy did not defend him against Bambi in last week's episode when she called him a cheater. And I just think it's crazy that he expects Yandy to defend him all the time when we barely ever really see him defend her. I mean, we saw the last couple of seasons her asking him to publicly defend her in their relationship, and he said that he wasn't going to do it. So it's crazy that now all of a sudden somebody's calling him a cheater, and now he gets so mad and defensive and gets mad at Yandy because she didn't defend him this one time. And she admits that the reason why she did not defend him is because she was in her feelings. So something's going on between Yandy and Mendeecees behind the scenes that caused her to be so in her feelings that she finally decided that she was not going to defend him. It seems like Yandy's fed up with him, and it seems like she doesn't want anything to do with him anymore besides co-parenting for their children, because she seems to be completely over it. It doesn't even seem like she wants to have any conversations with him at all. But not only did Yandy get into an argument with Mendeecees in this episode, but she also ends up getting into an argument with Ashley because Ashley is trying to have a conversation with her, and she's claiming that she doesn't understand what Yandy's problem with her is. But Yandy tells Ashley that her issue with her is that last season when they were in Puerto Rico and Mendeecees was on the trip by himself with the rest of the cast and Yandy was away in Greece, she had posted these pictures to social media and there was a guy in the pictures, and Ashley and Zane were one of the people that were really questioning Mendeecees hard about what Yandy was doing, and so Yandy obviously feels some type of way about it. Ashley says that the reason why she was questioning Mendeecees so hard is because he was in other people's business a little bit too much, so she decided to give him a taste of his own venison and get involved in him and Yandy's business. But once Mendeecees and Yandy's business got put to the forefront, Mendeecees got defensive and he felt some type of way about it. Look, I hate when people say on this show that people shouldn't get in other people's business. The whole point of this show is everybody getting involved in each other's business. So I didn't really think there was anything wrong with Ashley and Zane prying into Mendeecees and Yandy's business because they know what they signed up for. I just do feel like Ashley could have held back a little bit because she is supposed to be cool with Yandy, and Yandy also was not there to defend herself. But Ashley and Yandy start going back and forth with each other. Ashley tries to give Yandy this half-assed apology because she said she apologizes if she made Yandy feel some type of way. But Yandy doesn't want her to use the word if because she did feel some type of way about what Ashley was doing. So they start going back and forth with each other, and Yandy called Ashley and Zane dumb. And I'm sorry, that was kind of funny to me. I mean, I don't really have a problem with Ashley, but I did think that Yandy kind of ate her up in this conversation a little bit. Now, Mama D ends up having a one-on-one conversation with Zane's mom, and she starts telling Zane's mom that she heard Scrappy telling Bambi that he wanted his family back, but she doesn't feel like it's a good idea for the two of them to get back together because she feels like Scrappy hasn't changed. And honestly, I was surprised to see Mama D on her best behavior because usually she's not, and it seems like she's more so on Bambi's side than Scrappy's, and usually it's the other way around. Usually she goes hard behind Scrappy, but now she's not covering for his bullshit anymore because we just seen the bullshit that he was pulling in his relationship with Brittany. That's why that came to an end. So I do agree with her that I don't feel like it's the time right now for Scrappy and Bambi to get back together, because we can see that Scrappy really hasn't changed. But Mama D trying to give Zane's mom advice on how to handle things with Ashley was like the blind leading the blind, because we know that Mama D is the last person that should be telling any mother how she should deal with her daughter-in-law, because I mean, we saw how she treated Bambi, and not just Bambi, but a lot of the other women that Scrappy dated as well. Now, Yandy and Mendeecees end up getting into another back and forth in this episode, because he ends up coming up to her right after her argument that she had with Ashley, and she was already in a bad mood, and then Mendeecees starts telling his side of the story about what happened with Ashley in Puerto Rico. He said that he felt some type of way because Ashley was trying to bring up the fact that Yandy held him down when he was in jail, and so he told Ashley that she doesn't know his life to speak on it, and Yandy immediately felt some type of way, and I can understand why she felt some type of way, because it seemed like Mendeecees was trying to minimize how much she's done for him throughout their relationship. And at first he seems a little bit confused as to why Yandy feels some type of way, but then she explains to him why his wording was problematic when he was talking to Ashley, because by him saying that Ashley doesn't know his life after she said that Yandy held him down is implying that Yandy really didn't hold him down, and so he understood where she was coming from, or at least he pretended like he understood where she was coming from. I can't tell if he was just trying to stop the argument from happening or if he really understood her point of view. But he starts saying that this is the reason why he moved out of the house is because he wanted peace, but he caused the chaos as well. He's making it seem like Yandy's the only reason for the issues that they have in their relationship. And that's one of the reasons why Yandy has a problem with him, is because he always tries to put all the blame on her and he doesn't take really any accountability himself. He ends up sitting down and having a conversation with Jock, Zane, and Scrappy, and Zane ends up asking Mendeecees how the two of them can help mend the relationship between Ashley and Yandy, because they get along, but now their wives don't get along. So Zane tries to explain Ashley's side of things, saying that Ashley was only trying to tell Mendeecees that Yandy held him down for 4 years while he was locked up. And Mendeecees ends up cutting him off and basically minimizing Yandy again, saying that he's not here to confirm or deny whether or not Yandy held him down when he was locked up. So Zane just ends up asking Mendeecees straight out if he feels like Yandy held him down when he was locked up for 4 years, and he said yes. So Zane ended up asking him why he keeps getting defensive when somebody mentions that then, because it's true. Why are you getting defensive over something that's the truth? And Mendeecees straight up says that it's because people make it seem like when somebody holds you down, you owe them your life forever. And I do agree with that a little bit to an extent, because sometimes people do make it seem like when somebody does something for you, you owe them for life. Like you always have to be loyal to them no matter what they do to you. People do act that way, but that's not what people are trying to say he has to do when it comes to Yandy. But why the hell did Scrappy think that it was appropriate to ask Mendeecees if he feels like Yandy was sleeping with somebody else while he was locked up for 4 years? And I'm glad Mendeecees did shut that down a bit and said that he's not going to ask questions about that because he doesn't care, because he did tell Yandy when he was locked up that she can be single and live her life, and she told him no. So he said that whatever she did in those 4 years, he doesn't care about it. But Ashley and Yandy do end up having another conversation where Ashley does apologize appropriately this time to Yandy for the way that she was acting in Puerto Rico. But she does end up telling Yandy that the only reason why she came at Mendeecees so hard is because he wasn't defending Yandy while they were in Puerto Rico, and it seemed like he was minimizing Yandy's role in his life, and so that's why she felt some type of way. And Yandy seemed to actually agree. She does feel like Mendeecees minimizes her role in his life and the way that she's held him down and what she's done for him. So it seems like everybody's noticing that there's a difference in the way that Yandy talks about Mendeecees and the way that Mendeecees talks when it comes to Yandy. And this is not at all to say that Yandy's completely innocent in her relationship with Mendeecees. We know that she played a part too, but the difference is she's always defending Mendeecees and she's always defending their relationship. Mendeecees really doesn't do the same. For some reason, Mama D is on her best behavior during this camping trip, and she pulls Ashley to the side to tell her that she wants things to work out between her and Zane's mom, and that Zane's mom was saying that she was going to do a fundraiser for Zane's brother because he needs a kidney, and she doesn't want Ashley to be a part of it at all. And so Ashley ends up going up to Zane and his mother, and she apologizes to Zane's mom and acknowledges that there's been issues between the two of them, but she wants them to move forward, and she doesn't want to add to any stress that Zane's mom might be feeling. And Zane's mom did get emotional during this conversation because obviously her son needs a kidney, so obviously she's going to cry. And when she cried, Zane started crying to Scrappy, and I honestly felt bad, and I think it was good that he let out those tears, because I feel like it's important for men to be able to let out their emotions too and cry if they need to as well. So I think it was good that Zane let those tears out. But I feel like Ashley should have just left Zane's mom alone. I feel like if Zane's mom does not like her, just leave that lady alone, okay? Let Zane handle his mom and his family on his own, and you stay completely completely out of it. That's just how I feel about it, because the way that Zayn's mom has treated Ashley is tiring to watch, and I just feel like she should just leave that lady alone and just not have a relationship with her at all. Like, you don't have to say anything to that lady, you don't have to be rude to her, but you don't have to get involved in anything that she has going on either. So at the end of this episode, Mendeecees ends up asking Yandy if they can talk privately, and Yandy already is feeling some type of way because she does not want to have another private conversation with Mendeecees because it never goes well. So they start sitting down on these little swings, and there's a sign that's above them that says something about friendship, and he makes a joke about it because, like he said before, he wants him and Yandy to be friends again, and Yandy is not really in the mood for joking, so she really doesn't laugh about it. And so Mendeecees starts telling Yandy that she's the reason why they argue all the time and that she chooses violence every time they have a conversation, and she says that she's not trying to argue with him, but that he blames her for everything that goes wrong. And he's confusing me a little bit, because if Yandy's always trying to argue with you and you're tired of arguing, then why do you keep pulling her aside throughout this episode to have conversations with her if you think she's going to cause an argument? It's giving that he wants to argue and he's getting annoyed at the fact that he's not getting the reaction from Yandy that he actually wants. Because Yandy honestly feels emotionally checked out of this relationship with Mendeecees. She mentioned something to him about co-parenting, and it seemed like that bothered him a little bit, because it seems like he doesn't want to just have a co-parenting relationship with Yandy. I don't think that he wants to be exclusive with Yandy, but I think that he wants to have access to her that he no longer has anymore, and because she's not giving him the reaction that he wants, it seemed to annoy him a little bit, because he started getting petty and he takes a jab at her. He ends up asking her if she's going back to New York, and Yandy gets a little bit annoyed at him and tells him that she concluded all of her business that she has to do in New York, and so she's not going back, so she doesn't want him to ask her that question anymore. And in his confessional, he starts going off, like literally going off in his confessional, about how the reason why she was going back and forth to New York is because there's a guy that she's dealing with that's in New York, and he seemed to be really upset about it. And I'm a little bit confused because they're not together anymore, so both of them can do whatever they want. So if she is going back and forth to New York to deal with a man that she's seeing down there, why does he care? And so Yandy ends up storming off and he follows behind her, and they're talking, like they're arguing with each other. We can't see them, but we can hear them because they still have their mics on. And Mendeecees is going off, okay? Yandy stayed calm the whole time, but Mendeecees was flipping out, and honestly, this is probably who he really is behind closed doors. That calm, cool, collected guy that he shows on camera was not who we heard at the end of this episode. He starts calling their relationship fake and saying that he needs to expose Yandy and that he'll put it all out there. And then he said that Yandy has been single the whole time and that she faked this happy marriage and happy relationship. And it's like, okay, if she was faking, you participated in it, so you're just as fake as she is because you faked it as well. Like, I don't feel like anything that he exposes about his relationship with Yandy is going to surprise anybody, because now that we know that they weren't actually married and he's saying that the relationship was fake, then both of them are fake because they both faked it for the show. It seems like Mendeecees is annoyed at the fact that Yandy is emotionally checked out from him, because physically she was around him, but emotionally she's checked out, and I don't feel like he's getting the reactions from her that he wants because he sees that Yandy just doesn't really care anymore, and it seems like that's what's bothering him. I don't know that for sure, but that's what it seemed like to me. But those are my thoughts on this week's episode of Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Let me know what you guys thought about this episode down in the comment section, and I'll talk to you guys in my next video.